Good evening. My name is Evan Plager, and I'm the producer of tonight's program.
Logical Fallacies is an improvised debate show based on a premise created by Alexander Nigro and Martin Gonzalez.
The participants, moderator included, are allowed no preparation regarding the topic or their positions upon it. To maintain the improvisation of the debaters, we present their theses in one take. Everything you see will be completely unscripted and was performed in front of a live audience. As such, the statements made during the program may contain harsh language and other mature sensibilities. And so, in honor of such great debaters as Truffaut, Lincoln, Parmenides, Schirmer, and Peller, I hereby present to you Logical Fallacies.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of tonight's Logical Fallacies. I'm your host, Gummy Bear, and tonight's topic is going to be about the recent release of news that there is a trend developing among teenagers in America that they call on the street noseling. Noseling, for those who don't know, is described as the act of taking one's nose and going up to your friend or lover and stuffing it as hard as you can in their mouth. This has been supposedly a widespread trend among teens today, and we are here to discuss whether or not this should be allowed, and if not, how can we keep our teens from doing so. On my right here, we have Patrick Jerry Smith, who believes that this is just harmless teenage fun, and that we should talk to our teens about the risks of noseling, but that we should not try to ban them from it. And on my left, we have Miss Marge Butter, and she believes that this is a serious threat to the health and integrity of our teens. Thank you. Thank you for appearing. If I could please have an opening statement from Marge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bear. We at the United Church of Anatomical Correctness do not believe that this is the stance that children should be taking. The mouth is a sacred tool. From it spills forth genuineness, happiness, greatness. To defile it with your own forbidden snot and nasal cavity is a disgrace to you as a human being. And this is what teenagers do. They go in thinking that they have a harmless new technique, a new drug, so to speak. And it leads to one thing. Start off with, nozzling? And then you end up doing, fingering. And then you'd end up doing fingers in the nose. And before you know it, you're banned from school.
All right. Patrick, your opening statement, please.
Thank you, Gummy Bear. I am with the Trends and Style Department, with the Educational Department. Now, we here at the Trends Department think this is harmless. They are kids, and when you try to push kids away from something, you really just push them towards it. Look at other trends, such as drinking and smoking. All the kids do it. What's harmless about that? What we're here to discuss is nozzling and its harmless nature.
Speaking of the nature of nozzling or noseling, depending on what state you're in, there has been a recent study which came out which suggests that the children's habit of picking their nose and eating their boogers is the body's own way of building up an immune response. Do you think that perhaps this trend of noseling may have something to do with this biological instinct? We'll start with you.
Do you mean biological instinct to not put noses in?
To eat snot as a means of building one's immune system.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, we at the Trends Department think that by putting your nose in another's mouth, it is natural, actually, You're just trying to help them survive better. You've heard of these diseases that come out, like West Nile and SARS. What if they could be avoided by this? Think about it. Our children are really protecting our future. They always say children are our future, and this just goes to show that they actually care and are doing something to protect themselves from the viruses of the future.
And your rebuttal, Miss Butter.
Of course. Well, did picking one's nose protect people from the bubonic plague? I mean, let's think about this truly. I mean, does this nozzling thing even care about consent? Does the immune system care about consent? If you're going up to people and you have a cold and you stick your godforsaken nose in their mouth, then they have a cold. I don't see how this is helping anybody. And you're saying it helps build their immune system response, but what if it's something that can't be treated? What if we find some new disease from all this nozzling and then it can't be helped?
If you look at it that way, you can also say this is survival of the fittest. If you can't survive the disease they give you, then you will not make it in the future.
Interesting point. Now, Miss Butter, you've talked a lot about the nose being godforsaken and so on. Can you cite any scripture which claims that the nose is somehow dirty or not to be placed in a mouth?
Oh, yes, actually, and the biblical anatomical correctness, there's an exact scripture where it says, "And God made man, and said, Man, therefore shall not stick thy nose in thy woman's mouth, therefore has other parts in which to do so." And it specifically said not the nose, because the nose is godforsaken.
Fascinating. Do you have a response to this? Any scripture of your own that you would like to cite, perhaps?
God says a lot of things. I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong or he exists or he doesn't. We're not discussing this. What we are discussing is the past is what you're bringing up. You say we shouldn't kill, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not put your nose in another person's mouth. Mm-hmm. That's not one of the 10 Commandments, if I recall.
I think you're confusing us for somebody else. Killing is completely fine so long as you don't stick your nose in the carcass.
Fascinating. And with that, I believe we will move on to audience questions. Yes, you, sir.
Yes, I heard of kids sticking, like, other body parts into their mouths. Like, what do you guys think of that?
Miss Butter?
I think that the mouth is a sacred tool, and you should be very selective by what you stick in there. It's a tool for love, and you don't want to just put anything into your love hole.
Whoa. I think you have a very, very inaccurate description of what your love hole is, lady.
No, my children told me, and I understand.
All right, let's move on. Yes, you, sir, in the back with the wig.
Yeah, hello, my question is for Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, I'm with a particular organization who is really fond of your work here, and we just had a question. You think that with this noseling technique, it will weed out the weaker people. Do you think that this will lead to a superior, well, I don't know, sort of species or race of people?
If we look at the past, at all the things that have happened that have killed people off, I believe we are building up a better future for ourselves. If sticking my nose in his mouth will make him stronger, I'm all for it.
Would you care to comment at all?
No, I'm from a church background, and we're all for weeding out the weaker people, but there's just better ways to do it.
Oh, like the plague? That just kills everybody. That doesn't discriminate against people.
Do you think sticking their nose in their mouth would stop them from dying from the plague?
Yes, because people stick their nose in people's mouths that they care about. This isn't about just blatantly killing people. This is about building your friendships and your loved ones and keeping them safe.
Fascinating. I believe we have time for one more question. You, sir, right there.
My church teaches that abstinence only is the only way to ensure that you do not get diseases from the nose. And I can assure you that my daughter has been wearing her promised nose ring for the last 6 months and only breathing from her mouth. And I can tell you that she hasn't gotten sick just once. Just sounds a little weird.
May I?
Of course.
I completely agree with you. With the advent of nose condoms, everybody's sticking them around. They're thinking they're somehow fixing themselves or keeping themselves from their sin. But God knows. And there have been numerous cases of people getting diseases through their nose condoms.
Sir, what it sounds like to me, these people that use nose condoms, that use no rings, they're overprotected by their parents. When, and I'm telling you, this will happen. The day will come when you can't protect your daughter anymore. She will rebel against you and move out. And you are just pushing her to do that with these nose rings.
Fascinating. And very, very touching commentary from everybody involved. I believe with that we will move to closing statements. We will start with you, Mr. Jerry Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, my department has worked very hard over the past years that we've been here. We have wanted to develop a future for our children, and we have decided the best way to do it is noseling. If you want your kids to be the best they can, if you want to be the best parent you can, don't stop them from noseling. Let them do it. It's just natural.
And Miss Butter, you have the final word.
People of the United States, God knows where you stick your nose. If you want to have a pure nose, free from disease, put your children on nose rings, send them out to the world, and have them convert the noselers before they lose their nose, because God knows.
Fascinating. Well, I've been your moderator, Gummy Bear. This has been Patrick Jerry Smith and Marge Butter. We will see you next time. Good night.
And so concludes our discussion for the evening. We hope that all of you enjoyed yourselves and perhaps even learned something tonight. I certainly know I did. From all of us here at Logical Fallacies, I'm Evan Plager. Thank you and good night.
Logical Fallacies is a production of Penny-Farthing Entertainment. If you have questions or comments about the topic or for tonight's participants, please let us know in the comment section for this video, and they might be addressed in our viewer response segment. Be sure to like, favorite, and share this video, as well as subscribe to Logical Fallacies. Programs by Penny-Farthing Entertainment are made possible by viewers like you.